My argument was threefold. I said, community is a container of differences. Community life and identity is characterized by the constant negotiation of tensions caused by those differences. And third, communication is the medium through which these tensions are negotiated. Therefore, communication does function to create community. Communication, our words and deeds, does function to create our sense of group identity, our sense of who we are. All right, what methods did I use? Participant observations, in-depth field interviews, and document analysis. This is a picture of the dairy barn where I lived for 10 days over the course of this study, over the course of 2 visits. You see, this is kind of like, this is the 2nd story giant barn door that I could easily have rolled out of while I slept at any point. I didn't know, as you can tell. I experienced a lot of culture shock while I was at this community. Lots of things were different about the life in the community than life in the mainstream society. For example, there are no toilets the way we think of toilets. They only use composting toilets on this community, poop in buckets. They also don't divide the bathrooms by gender because they're an egalitarian community. Like, everything is equal, no differences between people. Toplessness and nudity was allowed. I'm not saying that I was ever found nude at the community in the 10 days. I'm just saying that nudity happens sometimes. I didn't see it. So after I got over the culture shock and was absorbing all the information that I could, I went back and interpreted this data. What I found emerge was a lot of tensions that function to create the community, and I wanted to focus in on the 2 biggest ones that I found. The 2 major tensions were between the in-group and the out-group, and between order and disorder. So I spent the bulk of my study discussing these 2 in depth. For the first one, in-group and out-group, the in-group was defined as the community itself. Now, within the community, there were factions, but they were all joined together as we are representatives of the good life. And they have this body of stories that they tell each other to reinforce this feeling of this is who we are. And the stories centered around these themes. They had common attitudes toward fun. They articulated a common ideology of work. They had work-life balance similarities. They all articulated a sense of connectedness to the earth, a reverence for the land. One participant said, "I like living here because it's more of a living type of life." They felt more just connected to the land. They felt that their life was satisfying, had this rich and beautiful texture to them. And the way that they organized their life in government was such that they felt empowered to make their own decisions. Contrast that against their conception of the out-group, or the outside world. To them, they used religious imagery a lot to describe the outside world, even though they're a secular community. They called the cities of the world Babylon, the Christian idea of the sinful city. They had this. They were rebelling against this concept of the American dream, where you want to grow up and have 2.5 kids and go to college and get debt and get a job to do for the rest of your life. That's how they saw it. They were reacting against that. The way we do food in the outside world is unhealthy, and there's all this the city is a bad place, nature and naturalness is good. So that's the in-group and the out-group. I also found this tension between order and disorder everywhere in the community. I love this picture because this guy, he's given me a tour of the weight room, and at no point did it strike him as odd or something that should be commented upon that there's a large tank of tilapia in the window of this workout room. And so I'm like, that seems kind of strange to me. Why is that there? And he's like, oh yeah, that's our tank of tilapia that we put in this window for some reason. And so I found that there were lots of just weird things going on. They seemed weird to me anyway. And that highlights the difference between order and disorder. In the literature, there's lots of different words used to explain this dialectic: structure versus freedom, cooperation versus individuality, stability, change, connectedness, autonomy. We all have this need to be connected with others, and that's order. It gives a sense of predictability to our social world. But we also want to be ourselves and do whatever we want, and that's disorder. They run a successful nut butter business, and it is a big deal. It provides the standard of living that they enjoy at the community, which is significant. And in order to coordinate a business like this, they have to have lots of order. They have to have managers. They have to like get the work done in a timely manner. They're part of the Federation of Egalitarian Communities, so they do have some structure. At the same time, lots of disorder. There is no mayor anywhere in this bustling like village of a community. There's no bosses. They make their own hours. They can come into work if they want. So someone could choose to work all day long slaving over this hot nut roasting machine. And another person could choose to spend all day on the porch drinking beer and peeling garlic for the community meal. And the community values both of those two individuals' contributions similarly. Both individuals, the one who worked in the machines and the one who peeled garlic, both get paid the same amount of money because they're an egalitarian community and everyone's contribution is similar. There's no directive or rules that say you have to do this or you have to do that. So we get this sense of self-determination and individual freedom so that they have to choose whatever they want to do. Leads to disorder. In conclusion, these were two of the tensions that I found that functioned to help create the community. And again, those tensions are communicatively expressed. They are enacted through the stories that we tell one another. In the future, I'd love to go back and get some more data on this community. I'd also like to go to other communities and see if I find similar things or different things. This concludes my presentation. I would love to answer some of your questions. If I do not get time to answer all of your questions today, feel free to contact me at the email address on the screen. Thank you very much.
Questions? I had a question. Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You talk about the in-group and the out-group, and this is kind of basic, but the in-group seem to be more focused on themselves and the out-group more focused on the outside world, but then in-group also kind of implies the cool kids, whereas out-group the uncool. So I wasn't sure what the defining characteristic of what made one group fall in one group and the other.
Okay, yeah. It is ambiguous, and it's always from the perspective of the individual. And so everyone's always in their own in-group and considers everyone else the out-group. But of course, the people over there consider themselves the in-group and the others the out-group. The other interesting thing, like I mentioned, you can be in the in-group and the out-group, in-group and an out-group at the same time. So within the community, maybe you're a new member, and so you're part of the out-group because it's the old members who have all the power. But because you're a new member and you have education from a college, you're like a professional and have a skill, then you're in an in-group, and the older, like uneducated members are part of the out-group. And so that's kind of the way I understood it. There are like power differences where it's like, well, who gets to say what's the in-group and the out-group? And I didn't get to explore that too much.
Okay.
Thanks.
So are they, this order, disorder, or in-group, out-group, are they related to the gender? Or?
That's a great question. So how does order and disorder relate to gender? When I was there, I asked them, what does equality mean to you? And I expected them to talk about gender. I expected them to talk about race. But really, none of them chose to talk about gender or talk about race. They assumed those things. And instead, when I asked them, what is equality? They all talked about work. I can do whatever I want, and it's valued equally. So yeah, I found that was kind of surprising. Rather than focusing on gender or socioeconomics or race, it was all about industry.
So then when you took interview, right? So how many people you took? Is there any gender related or something like that?
I'm sorry?
How many you took interview means?
How many did I interview?
Yeah.
I had like 16 interviews in all.
And
yeah.
all are male or female? Or
No, some male, some female. I tried to get a representative sample. I tried to get new members and old members. There's only one African American individual, not a lot of diversity. So I got as much diversity as possible.
Did you find a different perception, like in the work or in the community between genders?
I think it probably would break down on gender lines, yeah. There were definitely a variety of opinions. Some people really liked the way work was discussed. Some people really hated it because they're like, this isn't fair. But I didn't find it broke down, especially between genders.
Well, thank you, Jay.
Thank you very much.